Thank you for the opportunity, Danny. I appreciate it. Like, I'm so excited. So for those that don't know, I am Domo. Nice to meet y'all in the internet world. My social media tags are, find me on Instagram at I am Domo Jones, and Facebook, Domo Jones, Twitter, and TikTok, I am Domo Jones. So the question is, what does peace mean to you? Peace is to silence the noise. So anything that is loud, meaning people around you, like they don't have anything forthcoming or encouraging to say. If things around you, environmental things, like where you go shopping, it could be anything. If that doesn't bring you calmness, serenity, yeah, that got to go. That's not better in my life. Like, you got to go.
Let it go then. Okay, well, so for those who are here for the first time, I'm changing this game over and over and over again because I think that's fun to do. But the goal is to have these self-awareness assignments. Domo has no idea about any of the content that's going to be shared. I'm actually going to share a screen, Domo, with you now. And what I need you to do is just to pick either a letter or a number from the board, okay? I'm going to use that for the content that I shared with you today.
All right, let's go.
All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take down the numbers and letters that you pick 7 of them, and that's the content that we're going to go over today.
So let's do 22.
22?
E, the letter E as in elephant.
Okay.
Ooh, let's do P as in Paul.
P, okay.
8 as in after 7.
Okay.
That's 4, right?
Yep, that's 4.
Let's do N as in Nancy.
Okay.
74.
All right.
And 64.
Perfect.
Let's get it. Let's go.
So I have the first one up. And let me explain to you the game for the content that I'm first sharing, okay? So this game is called Contrast Comment. So you're going to imagine an alternative version of whatever is going on in a clip. So maybe changing the tone or the setting or perspective. So we're going to watch this clip. And if there is, after the clip, I'm going to give you 60 seconds to change the setting, change the tone, but just do a contrast comment to whatever we're experiencing, okay?
Okay, got you.
And this number is our first one, which is 22.
Okay.
This is a warning for everybody who buys Dr. Bronner's soap. Real quick, let me just tell you that Dr. Bronner became very zealous and vocal about his religious philosophy, about some kind of all-one God faith. In 1947, he was speaking at the University of Chicago, and he was actually arrested and placed in a mental institution where he repeatedly received shock treatments. And I want y'all to read what's on these labels. It's a bunch of weirdo stuff, down to the people he works for. I mean, this soap is talking about Muhammad. It is talking about uniting all mankind against some enemy, winning victory. It talks about Jesus, laws of the universe, weirdo stuff. It says, listen, children, eternal father, whatever. This is weird. It talks about the Star of Buddha, Bethlehem, the moral ABC code, the messenger of God's law. Read what's on this. As you can see, it says all one, right? For the all one God faith that he believes in. I'm gonna need y'all to just pause the video whenever y'all want and read it for yourselves, what you guys see on this video. But there's a lot of crazy stuff on here. He, I guess, was a Masonic dude. He's always talking about the Masonic tent, always talking about some moral ABC codes, the sandal maker Hillel, some Jewish scholar, sage, or whatever, born in Babylon, which is crazy, that apparently he says taught Jesus everything.
For 60 seconds on the clock, whatever content that you just watched, give us a different perspective of the clip and tell us what setting you change within that 60 seconds.
So pretty much what the gentleman was saying was the man that is the owner of the company went through an awakening or whatever. He had like a aha moment, and he's putting all his pretty much learnings on all his products, like everything that he's done, all that jazz, right? So what I would change is the messenger, which is the guy that's talking, kind of sounded a little upset, like it's a problem. So for me, if he didn't agree, or if it was a conspiracy theorist, leave that up to the audience. Meaning what I would do is I would display the information of what I've learned. And then I would say, what are your thoughts? Because why are you mad? Like, he's successful in what he's doing. And obviously it's in mainstream stores. So what you mad for? Like, why are you saying it like it's a problem? And if you don't agree, then move on.
60 seconds, Domo, 60 seconds. I like what you shared there, because first of all, being able to present to the audience for them to think instead of like pouring in our emotion first gives room for other creators to think freely. But I'm not going to go into like everything. We're going to go to the next one.
That was dope.
All right. So now we're going to your second choice, which is E.
A crazy boy who lives in me, and he says the things that I don't want to say. He was born, just a few months ago. He was conceived in rage, so he bashes everyone. He wants to be blamed. I don't want to blame him. I ask him to leave, but he can't. He's here for a reason.
I want to preface this video by saying, pray for Nicki Minaj. Everybody's called, and we know that. She has a strong calling of God on her life. And she's coming to the valley of decision, where she's going to have to make a choice on what side of the fence to be on. Pray she makes the right decision. Roman is a demonic spirit. Notice how she made mention that Roman came in through rage. It's ironic. Paul's letter to the church in Ephesus, look at what he said. Be angry and do not sin. Do not let the sun go down on your wrath, nor give a place to the devil. In the Greek, it can translate into foothold, place, room, opportunity. Anger and sinning is an open door to let demonic spirits in. And that's how Roman got in. Notice how she said that Roman says the things that she doesn't want to say. That demonic spirit is using her voice box as an expression of his emotions. Notice she asked him to leave. He won't. That's because you can't ask demons to leave. You have to command them in Jesus' name. Pray for her. Follow for more. Sidebar. This evening's the deadline. I'm teaching on the spiritual connection of music, deja vu from a biblical perspective, and more.
Okay, I'm about to come back to you.
If you want the teaching sent to your email, sign up with the link in my bio. On Instagram.
Oh, that's deep.
So 60 seconds on the clock. You're trying to find what assumptions you made and why.
All right. So the assumption that I got, one of them was that she's demon possessed and she doesn't know how to get out of it. And I say that because she literally named the demon that's in her. And she said that she can't even control it. And it came through rage. God's not rage. That's opposite from peace and happiness. Also, the assumption that I got from the content creator was he was crying out for an alertness and for her to be helped, to sense and to see what's going on in her life and not just agree with everything she's doing, but know what the reason behind it. And that's because he brought awareness to the situation, but then he also brought Bible to it.
All right. In 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I just got to get all the way to the end.
Let's go. I did it this time, big dog. You ain't about to catch me over. No, I'm going to follow the rules.
All right. So now we're at P. So after you watch the post, you're going to identify which of their core values were touched upon by the clip. Or if you don't get that out of it, which of your core values, if any, are touched upon in the clip?
Okay.
Most unfiltered truth that runs through every single human being is this. Everything that you want, you don't really want. Because if you wanted it, you would already have it. And the reason why you have the things that you have in your life is because you couldn't live without it. And the reason why you are where you are at, and this goes for everybody, mentally, spiritually, physically, financially, is because in the DNA that runs through your bloodstream, it is okay with you to be there. And let me take that back. So if I put your head on fire right now, time wouldn't matter, your mom calling you, nothing would matter besides putting that fire out. Even if your worst enemy was looking at you laughing, you would jump in a nasty puddle outside if you had to, because you're moving with that much urgency to put the fire out. So when it comes to your life, why haven't you put out those fires with the same amount of urgency? And I can tell you why, because deep down inside, it's okay with you to be there. And that's just an unfiltering, raw truth.
All right. So in this clip, he was basically saying that the reason why you're at where you're at is because you're comfortable with being there. That's a good analogy to have, because if you're okay with being content with where you are, you're not even willing to grow because you feel like you've not so much made it, but you feel like there's no need to push. There's no need to grow. There's no need to even find anything else because like you good with it. Also, he made in the clip that if there's no urgency to do it, then you don't have to do it. I don't think that's necessarily true. I think that if you want to do it, you will do it. It doesn't have to do with urgency. It doesn't have to do with time.
All
Just do
right.
it.
Are you sharing with us one of his values or a value from you?
Yes, I did. Because his value was if you're content where you are, then that means that you're not willing to grow. If you're willing to grow, then that means that you won't stay comfortable.
Okay. But if the people are in the comments or watching this video or listening on a podcast, I would love for you to share what you think his values were or what are your values as it relates to that. But for the rest of the games, go ahead and play in the comments as well. We're doing a great job. Let me explain the next task. So now this is called the backstory. You're going to give us a backstory. How do you think this person got to this message? And you're going to give us just your imagination. We don't
whole
spiel, but here's your imagination coming through.
I'm with it.
The story's still out on the blacks. I'm very worried about the blacks and being tied up into a culture that is, it's not the old culture. They're making it up brand new and saying it's the black culture. It's not what it used to be. It's their culture. It's today's culture. I don't think it's helpful. I don't think it's positive. It's uncaring. It's unloving. It has no compassion. And I don't like that. Then there are others, millions, who are fantastic, wonderful, strong, marvelous. But it's this new group that's saying they're representing the black culture that's old and the old culture, and it isn't. And I resent it.
And you mean like the clothing that they
I
wear?
don't know that I want this on.
The clothing that they wear?
The clothing, the attitude. It's a negative attitude. They're ornery. Well, that's not the black culture we knew. We are a beautiful people, and we can afford to act.
60 seconds on the clock.
Okay, so I think the backstory is she came from a generation where the black culture, they represented themselves a different way. They represented themselves with kindness, with gentleness. Although they were strong in character, although they were strong in their culture, they were still kind. They were still meek. And I feel like she's used to that. And now because she's been around for the many generations, she's seen it changing. And she like, nah, we good. She want to go back to the old days. Back in the 60s. She like, she from the 60s. She want to go back where you ain't got to lock your door.
All right.
For real.
There go our backstory. Good job. All right. So let's go into the next task. Okay, so this is a qualifier with questions. So after you watch this video, you're going to give the creator of the video or the person talking in the video, if it ends up being more than one person, then choose one. 2 questions you have about the content that they just shared. And then you're going to position 2 questions to the audience that's watching with us today about the content that we just watched.
We are creating a society that women are not happy in, right? We've suddenly allowed radical feminists to convince us that we should want to be just like men, that we should want to climb the corporate ladder, that we should not aspire to having kids. We routinely cover that sort of a conversation that's happening across various podcasts where they're making it seem like the aspiration to want to stay at home is something that should be frowned upon. So I'll ask the question, what is the value of a woman today? What is sacred about having a woman? If you're a man and you're looking and you're saying, I want to marry somebody, what are the attributes that you should be looking for? Are we offering that anymore? We now exist in hooker culture, right? The sex is free. It's promiscuous. We want to put our bodies on the internet. We say that somehow renders us more free, which in my personal opinion, actually, I think it's bondage. When the only way that you can get attention and the only way that you can get people to look at you is by taking off your clothes, it's because you have no substance.
50 seconds on the clock. You have at least 2 questions. If you have more, feel free, for the creator. And you have 2 questions for the audience that's watching with us together.
So my first question is it that they're not happy or is it that they're making it the norm? Because she mentioned that we're living in a society where women are not happy, but is it the norm? And my next question would be that why does she feel like staying at home is something that we want to do nowadays? Why is that the standard as a woman? And my question for the audience is, 1, do you agree that we're living in a world to where women need to feel like they have to climb the corporate ladder? And then my next question would be, do you think that that's okay? My last question would be, can we climb the corporate ladder and still be modest?
Two more to go. This one is just the echo chamber, which means that after we watch this clip together, we're going to identify the initial stance on this topic.
Why in the world do you keep saying that you're giving your money to God instead of telling the truth? You're giving your money to the pastor. Why you keep doing this here?
Oh.
Why you keep doing it? Leave God out of the equation, y'all, because y'all keep acting like God broke. This God money. God ain't giving you no money and then he gonna take it back. What's wrong with you? Whatever God give you, he give you to do what you want to do with it. Just say you want to give the money to the pastor. Stop saying you're giving it to God, because God ain't broke. He owned the moon and Saturn and Pluto, y'all. He owned all the stars in the sky.
What?
And let me tell you this here. If he gives you a building, he qualified to take care of it. He qualified to send somebody your way to pay the building off. That's the kind of God I serve. Now I don't know what God you talking about. The God I serve is rich. He's on the whole world. He don't need your money, not the God I serve. Now if your God wants you to give your money to the pastor, just say that. And stop saying your God, you giving money to God like he broke and he needs your money. No, man needs your money, not God. I'll talk to you later on the next video.
That
Lord, we
is
get some sense in our brains. What's going on here, y'all?
Wow, that is a definitely new perspective.
It's on the clock.
So basically what she's saying is God doesn't need our money. So when we're giving tithe and offering, we shouldn't have the perspective or the mindset of we're giving it back to God, because in retrospect, we're really not. She's saying that we're actually giving it to a physical person, which is the pastor. And then she was also reiterating that, or saying that if God gave us a building, if God gave us something financial, something tangible, then he'll have other people pay for it because he gave it to us. So your money ain't going to God, it's going to people. People think that the church is paid off air and smiles. How are we supposed to live? We live in a natural world. So yeah, you got to pay your tithes and offering. It's not unto God. It's moral values. What? Make it make sense.
And people will speak about churches and they're like, they run it like a business. And it's almost like, wow.
It is.
It's a business of people saving souls. But
literally. And here's another perspective. God gives us natural resources. Everything belongs to him, of course. Like, we all know that. But the thing is, God gives us natural resources to see if we're disciplined enough to even return the favor. Because we live off of money, right? So if we are so stingy with our money and we're not even giving it back to, or even reverencing the source who gave it to us, then what does that say about you as a person? Like, you're not even acknowledging the person who gave it to you, who allowed you to be on this natural earth to help you live. God don't need your money, but he wants to know, are you thankful that I'm allowing you to live on my earth using my resources? That's just like saying, why wouldn't you acknowledge your mom on Mother's Day? Like, you weren't asked to be born, but because your mom is your mom and she's done so much for you without you even having to ask, her job is to take care of you. Her job is to take care of a child. And the way you grow up, despite the way you grow up, whatever, just acknowledging, thank you for the sacrifice that I don't even know of. Thank you for just being there when I didn't even ask. Even when I was the worst child, you still ain't never left me. So on Mother's Day, I'm going to reverence you. And even not on Mother's Day, just on a general day, like, I'm going to say thank you. Let's just even be in the perspective of like natural. Famous football players. Who they always thank?
God.
They mom.
Oh, they do?
A lot of them thank God, but I want to bring it to natural, like super like natural, because the perspective of acknowledging a person that has done a lot that you don't even recognize has done it. So a lot of times, those that are like in football or sports, they always thank their mom for being there when they weren't the best child. They always thank the mom for disciplining them, even if they don't want to. And they are where they are today because of their mom. Mm. So it's the same perspective with God. God is the one that gives you the source to provide a life for yourself. So he's like, I'm giving you everything. This my, like, you in my town, big dog. Like, all this is mine. And I'm allowing you to live on this earth using my stuff. At least say thank you. Mm. At least reverence that it's me.
All right. So I want to give the audience, anyone listening or coming across this video, an opportunity to play a game based on what Domo just shared with us, right? Domo just shared of her content. She came from content that she's inspired by based off that last section of the game. And this is the game, Our Thought, Their Thought, or Remix. So Our Thought means you share that exact same messaging that Domo has about giving reverence back to God through tithes. Or Their Thought means it completely belongs to Domo. You don't have nothing to do with that. You don't agree with it. But tell us why for each one. And the last one is Remix. If you choose Remix, it means there's some of it that you agree with Domo. And then there's some that you would change a little bit.
Switch it up.
Yeah, tell us why. All right, Domo, we have one last.
Somebody, and this happens all the time, you know, people watch my stories and sometimes y'all DM me and tell me, oh, Jazz, you should do this or you should do this. And I'll ask you a few questions about what you might be suggesting. And then sometimes I come back to y'all after we've, you know, had a back and forth or so about your idea. And I'll say, why don't you do it?
Oh.
Anybody who really knows my content knows I'm not super religious, right? But growing up in church did teach me a few things that I will always value. And one of the things is when God places it on your heart to do something, do it. And you can do it. It's just a little bit of a reminder that when you see something on my page or anybody's page and you think somebody should X, Y, and Z, or you know what somebody needs to do? That somebody could be you. And I believe that feeling that we get when somebody should do something, it is God moving us to act. So if you ever DM me and I say, why don't you do it? It's no shade. It's a real question. Why don't you? Because you can.
First, let's identify what you think her primary message is so we know what you're debating.
So what she was basically saying was that she feels like when people bring her different suggestions of what they think she should do, her comment back is, no, you do it. Like, why can't you do it? Why do I have to do it? Being that God laid it upon your heart, do it for yourself.
Okay, so now you're debating against that.
My thing is, if she's making content and the content that you're putting out in the world, if people have suggestions based on what you said, I feel like you should probably consider it. It's a different perspective, maybe that you ain't never even seen before. It's not the fact that they need to do it. It's the fact that maybe it's something that you ain't never even thought of and they have a different view. They have a different vision. So maybe it's something that you may need to implement based on what they said, because you're the one that posted it. So the content or the DMs that you're getting are based on what you said. So why they got to do it? Make that make sense. You doing half the work. If they have a suggestion, maybe that's from the Father. Maybe it's confirmation. That's what I'm saying. It could be confirmation. That's it.
All right. In 3, 2, 1.
Oh, that was good. I didn't even think I was going to be able to have anything to say.
And you did.
I know.
I want to thank you so much for playing this game with me, and for everyone who's listening. The purpose of this game, Earth Experiences, is I'm really exploring Earth, and I'm exploring it through the content that we consume online, but shifting it to our self-awareness journey. You know, really just taking a step back and understanding why we think the way that we do, why we respond the way that we do, because we spend so much time on our phones. We're scrolling. I look down, somebody's scrolling. We're on the phone consuming content, but we're also creating content in our everyday lives. Some of this content can be supportive, for others, and some of it can be detrimental. So just being intentional about it is the purpose of these games. And even if we don't get anything out of just playing a game, it's just some ideas for us to just practice, to pause and to think and to really consume content in a more intentional way. And again, please let people know how to find you. And we'll close out the show with, how do you contribute peace to the world?
Yeah, so you can find me on Facebook, Domo Jones, on IG, I am Domo Jones, Twitter, I'm Domo Jones, and TikTok, I'm Domo Jones. Holla at me one time for the one time. So how do I contribute peace to this world? One, I'm on my business. That's one. I'm on my business. I drink a lot of water. No, also anything I go through, because I am kind of on display, meaning like I have a talk show. So you see my face a lot. Anything that I go through, anything that I may experience in life, I change my perspective. Not so much why, but what can I learn from it? Because the chaos and all that and the woe is me, that's what brings distortion. And that's not peace. Peace is calm. Peace is serenity. Peace is thinking things through. Peace is not going off just like anything. You know, you got to suffer a little bit. Peace is suffering a little bit. But how do you suffer? The perspective of, I'm going through, yeah, but what am I learning from this? So I think for me, I try to keep that perspective, and I always try to be optimistic on life, because life be lifing, but God be guiding. God be guiding. You feel me?
I know that's right. Well, that is all, friends. I want to thank you so much for being here with us. And until next time, hold on to you as much as you can. Hold on to your health, your being, and your mind. Be mindful.
We out.